These are some of Blake Lively's most humiliating moments caught on camera. Blake turned a personal dispute into a history lesson, and it did not go as planned. During the filming of It Ends With Us, Blake found herself in a messy situation with producer Jamie. She claimed he made her uncomfortable by holding eye contact for too long while she was nursing her baby in her trailer. That alone had people talking, but things really took a turn when Blake compared the incident to historical injustices against black men. Let's just say not everyone saw the connection. Legal experts and industry insiders weighed in, with many arguing that the comparison was unnecessary and took focus away from the actual concern. Some questioned why she continued the meeting if she felt uncomfortable, while others pointed out that no physical or verbal wrongdoing had been reported. Meanwhile, Jamie's legal team called the situation a misunderstanding that had been blown out of proportion. What started as a serious discussion on personal boundaries quickly became a full-blown debate on history, responsibility, and public perception. In the end, Blake didn't just lose control of the narrative. She walked straight into a buzz of her own making. Next time, maybe just keep it about the eye contact. Blake and Ryan turned SNL into their personal roast session, and it backfired. At Saturday Night Live's 50th anniversary special, Blake and Ryan sat front and center. But it wasn't just for the nostalgia. During a skit, Ryan made a sly joke about Justin, Blake's It Ends With Us co-star, saying, "Careful where you put your hand, she's 90% G-spot." The audience, stunned, the internet, all over it. Many saw it as a direct dig at Justin over recent workplace concerns, and let's just say, it did not land well. To make things messier, this all went down at an event hosted by Ryan's ex-wife, Scarlett. Yeah, layers on layers of drama. Some called it petty, others said it trivialized Blake's own concerns about on-set behavior. The cherry on top? Kevin caught on camera looking deeply unimpressed, turning his reaction into an instant meme. What could have been a legendary night of comedy turned into a full-blown internet debate about personal grudges, professionalism, and whether SNL should come with a drama warning. Blake's latest ad had people asking whether it was satire or just awkward. In 2025, Blake launched a new campaign for her beverage brand, Betty Buzz, and let's just say it fizzled out fast. The ad featured a male model being told to drink up like a dog, while Blake quipped, "We don't test on animals, we test on men."
We don't test on animals. We test on men.
To really drive it home, the guy got a pat on the head, complete with a good boy. Yeah, people had thoughts. Consumer watchdogs and social media users weren't impressed, calling the ad degrading and questioning why Blake, a vocal advocate for gender equality, thought this was the move. The irony was hard to miss. Blake had spoken out about respect in the workplace, yet here she was, flipping the script in a way that didn't quite land. Sales took a noticeable dip, and many expected an apology, or at least some damage control. But Blake, she stayed silent, letting the internet do its thing. At the end of the day, Betty Buzz might be all about balance, but this campaign definitely left a bad aftertaste. Blake's cake choice had people cringing for all the wrong reasons. During an interview with Zoe, Blake shared a quirky parenting moment. She baked a cake shaped like, well, a part of the body typically associated with feeding babies. Her reasoning? He's not old enough to declare what he wants. So this. Harmless joke, right? Not according to the internet. Parenting advocates were not laughing. Many felt it was an odd, unnecessary choice, with some saying it crossed a line. Social media was filled with debates over whether this was just harmless humor or something more questionable. And when people asked Blake for her thoughts on the backlash, she doubled down with, "I'll show you a picture of the cake, not of me." That didn't help. Psychologists even chimed in, warning about potential confusion for her son as he grows up. Meanwhile, the internet was busy asking one big question. Out of all the cake designs in the world, why this one? Blake's fake it till you make it strategy turned into flop it till you drop it. Blake once admitted to pulling some serious strings to land the lead role in the rhythm section. Instead of going through the usual casting process, she managed to slip into a meeting with director Reed under the pretense of discussing another project. Before anyone knew it, she had convinced producers to give her the part, despite not being the original choice or necessarily the best fit. Well, that gamble didn't exactly pay off. When the rhythm section finally hit theaters, it was a disaster. It tanked at the box office, pulled in a brutal 28% score on Rotten Tomatoes, and left Paramount with a $30 million loss, critics tore the film apart, and insiders whispered that Blake's behind-the-scenes influence might have done more harm than good. After this mess, industry bigwigs became a little more hesitant about giving Blake too much creative control. Safe to say that Hollywood producers probably started locking their meeting rooms a little tighter after this one. Blake turned a simple "congrats" into an interrogation. During a 2024 interview, Blake's reaction to a pregnancy comment left the audience shifting in their seats. When the host casually congratulated her, she shot back, "What makes you say that? The shark told you?" A response so sharp it could have popped a baby shower balloon.
First of all, congrats on your little bump.
Congrats on your little bump.
The moment instantly went viral, with viewers torn between cringing and wondering if they had missed some inside joke. But she wasn't done. In another interview, when asked about handling 4 kids, she quipped, "You can have my 4th child for me." Some laughed, but many felt the joke landed awkwardly, especially given her advocacy for women supporting women. Instead of fostering open discussions about motherhood, critics argued she was using it as a way to put interviewers on the spot. Blake's brand has always been polished and poised, but these moments made her seem a little too ready to pounce. Maybe next time, a simple "thank you" would work better than a full-blown press conference cross-examination. Turns out the real drama on Gossip Girl wasn't just scripted. In 2025, a YouTube deep dive resurfaced clips of Blake's questionable behavior toward her co-star Leighton. One moment in particular had fans in disbelief. During an interview, Leighton started opening up about her tough childhood, only for Blake to cut in with, "Let me stop you right there, they were in prison, yes?" The room fell silent, and Leighton's forced smile wasn't fooling anyone.
Come on, it was a joke. Lord have mercy.
Fans quickly pieced together other instances where Blake seemed to undermine or overshadow Leighton, from backhanded compliments to moments where she dismissed her co-star's thoughts entirely.
And everyone knows blondes are nicer anyway.
The compilation ignited heated debates, with some defending Blake as just joking and others calling it outright mean-spirited. Leighton, who has always been low-key about her Gossip Girl days, never directly addressed the rumors. But her reluctance to reminisce about the show suddenly made a lot more sense. Blake, on the other hand, stayed silent. But the internet never forgets, especially when it comes to potential real-life Blair Waldorf behavior. Nothing says self-made like a little bribery. In a resurfaced interview, Blake casually admitted that her dad once bribed a choir director to give her the lead role, despite her own words. "I can't sing or dance to save my life."
Parents had paid the show choir director to put me in the choir, because I can't sing or dance to save my life.
She laughed it off, but the internet? Not so much. Fans were quick to point out the irony of Blake, who built a career off a golden ticket, joking about getting a free pass. Her follow-up comment, "Even as an adult, I still can't get over my privilege," didn't help. Instead of a moment of self-awareness, it came off as an oblivious flex. While some chalked it up to classic Hollywood nepotism, others saw it as a slap in the face to people who actually have to work for opportunities. The backlash wasn't just about the confession, it was about how casually she said it, like privilege was just a quirky personality trait. Moral of the story? Maybe don't brag about skipping the line when everyone else is stuck waiting. Blake Lively also laughed at her friend's divorce. Yikes! During the promotion of Deadpool 3, Ryan's character took a dig at Wolverine's divorce, a not-so-subtle reference to Hugh Jackman's real-life split from Deborah Lee Furness. While some laughed it off, many saw it as a cheap shot at a personal matter that had nothing to do with the film. Blake didn't help matters. At a red carpet event, when asked about the joke, she smirked and said, "Well, it's Deadpool. If you can't laugh at yourself, who can you laugh at?" That did not go over well. Fans pointed out that she and Ryan had been close with Hugh and Deborah Lee for years, making the joke feel less like comedy and more like betrayal. While Deadpool thrives on irreverence, this moment blurred the line between playful roasting and insensitivity. Critics slammed the couple for using a friend's heartbreak as material, arguing that there's a difference between edgy humor and punching down. Lesson learned? Maybe next time, leave real-life divorces out of the script. Blake Lively demanded 2.5 years of Justin Baldoni's phone records without relevance. In a legal feud that felt more like a messy breakup than a lawsuit, Blake demanded 2.5 years of Justin Baldoni's phone records, way beyond the timeline of their actual work together. Legal experts didn't hold back, calling it an unnecessary fishing expedition. The drama started after It Ends With Us faced a chaotic press tour. Whispers circulated that Blake and Justin clashed behind the scenes, but things took a turn when Blake filed a lawsuit hinting at behind-the-scenes inappropriate behavior. Justin clapped back with a countersuit, accusing her of exaggerating claims to ruin his career. He even suggested the lawsuit was more about revenge than justice. When Blake's over-the-top legal demands were revealed, public opinion shifted. Fans questioned why she needed 2.5 years of records if the issues were recent. Instead of painting Justin as the bad guy, the lawsuit ended up making her look vindictive. At this point, she might as well have asked for his childhood diary too.
From calling her coworkers monkeys, going to prison, and mocking British royalty, let's get into Blake Lively's most embarrassing moments. First up, Blake Lively went to prison. Let me elaborate. She went to Disney prison. If you didn't know that existed, well, now you do. On The Late Show with David Letterman, Lively made a bombshell revelation from one of her visits to Disneyland as a kid. The actress revealed that her mother, Elaine Lively, used to take her to Disneyland like twice a week after school. She shared that during one of her visits, her and her brother tried a little trick that got them banned. She said, you get a stamp when you leave the park, and if you spray like hairspray on it, you can actually transfer it to someone else's hand. So in the parking lot, he went up to somebody and said, hey, can we spray hairspray on your hand and transfer it? Then we go through and they say, excuse me, can you come with me? And I'm like 6 years old, and my brother says, no matter what they say, do not confess. I will not admit that we did this. So, he was a professional felon. That's what she said. Now, this little trick got her in trouble, leaving, Blake Lively to visit Disney's prison. And not just that, the actress was even banned from visiting Disneyland for like a year. She then continued to explain, saying, so we go downstairs in Disneyland, it's all white rooms, everyone is dressed in all white, the furniture is all white, and they just interrogated us. It was really scary and traumatizing. It's interesting because they spend billions and billions of dollars building a wonderland for kids, and then they're stunned and surprised that kids would want to sneak in. So as we see, she learned to lie at a very early age, so that's interesting. Next, we have the most awkward and embarrassing interview like ever. Norwegian journalist Kirsti Flaw uploaded to YouTube an interview she had done with Lively and actor Parker Posey while they were promoting their film Cafe Society. The video is titled The Blake Lively Interview That Made Me Want to Quit My Job and has gained like over 6 million views. The clip actually begins with the journalist telling Lively, who was pregnant at the time, congrats on your little bump. Lively then replies back with the same, congrats on your little bump. When Flaw asks the actress about, their wardrobes in the film, Lively says to Parker, everyone wants to talk about the clothes, but I wonder if they would ask the men about the clothes. Flaw then replies, I would. Lively continues to carry on the conversation with her co-star about the men's clothing in the movie, and at the end of the interview, Posey appears to roll her eyes at Flaw. In her caption, Flaw offered the following reflection, saying, is it not okay to congratulate someone on their pregnancy or to ask another woman about costume she is wearing in a film? The interview generated a lot of buzz in the comment section, with YouTube users calling Lively's behavior rude and just passive aggressive. Now, the chatter carried over to other social media platforms as well, and while some people criticized Lively for her, responses, others defended Lively for being subjected to questions about her pregnancy and appearance. Flaw would later reveal just how hurtful, Blake's response was to her, because she can't, in fact, actually conceive children of her own. She said, her comment left me almost paralyzed. To be honest, it hurts because I obviously wasn't pregnant and I could never get pregnant. So to me, that comment was like a bullet. I don't know how to react. I felt very uncomfortable throughout the interview, and all I wanted to do was leave and get out of there as fast as I could, basically. She continued to say, I felt belittled and ignored, and it made me question if I ever wanted to do these types of interviews again. Amidst all the recent drama and lawsuits going on with Blake, the video has again resurfaced, and people are calling Blake, like the ultimate mean girl and just nasty for the way that she conducted herself. One person said, this is a classic high school bullying method, acting like you totally click with your bestie right in front of the third wheel to make them feel as excluded and ostracized, and rejected as possible. With another person adding, if these two women can do this to a professional reporter in front of a camera that is filming them, imagine how they treat other professional staff and just ordinary people without cameras. Next up, hey, remember when Blake and Ryan got married on a plantation? Well, Blake Lively also admitted to doing blackface. A resurfaced MTV interview from 2006 with the cast from the movie Accepted shows a pre-nose job Blake openly admitting to doing blackface. Blake Lively and Justin Long were talking about, anecdotes that made them geeky in high school. Blake goes on, actually, she literally just cuts Justin off so she can urgently tell this very embarrassing racist story, and basically admitted that she wore a lot of bronzer and wore an afro to stalk and impress her high school crushes. She said, my best friend and I, when we were in 10th grade, had crazy crushes. We drive around stalking these guys. We decided one night to go to the arcade where they were, and I put bronzer all over myself and a Scary Spice afro so they would think I was a black girl so I could stalk them, and my friend dressed up as this goth girl and we literally sat outside their houses. Justin Long then says, so that makes you sweet and charming. You're still hot. Of course, now that this clip has, been brought back from the grave, social media is in a frenzy. One person on X said, how does bronzing your skin, to look black as well as putting on an afro wig constitute geek? With another person saying, so you just did blackface and thought it was cute. Blake has not commented on this, of course, but she and Ryan did previously apologize for having their wedding at Boone Hall, the former plantation in South Carolina. All right. Next up, Blake Lively mocked the Princess of Wales, Kate Middleton's health. After Kate went public with her cancer diagnosis, Blake Lively did apologize basically for her beverage line's recent ad that poked fun at the Photoshop drama involving Kate. Back when it happened, Blake Lively posted to Instagram announcing new flavors for her Betty Buzz and Betty Booze beverages. Now, the carousel showed, 7 images of the new products, but the first is very obviously heavily edited and seemingly, alluded to the Princess of Wales photo editing controversy. Now, in the ad, Lively is basically seated poolside in the first image, but several things appear to be manipulated. The pool and the chair she's sitting in are completely warped. Her hands are from 2 different people. Her body appears unnaturally positioned, and lemons and drink cans are plopped randomly throughout the scene. This obvious editing in Lively's photo is by design rather than mistake, unlike in Kate's Mother's Day photo. Now, amid photo agency, retractions and questions about the royals, whereabouts post-abdominal surgery, Kensington Palace released an apology from the princess in which she wrote, like many amateur photographers, I do occasionally experiment with editing. Lively's post has since, of course, been deleted, and she then shared a statement to Instagram saying, I made a silly post around the Photoshop fail frenzy, and oh man, that post has me mortified today. I'm sorry, sending love and well wishes to all, always. Now, despite apologizing, people were still left with a very bad taste in their mouths, and her comment section was filled with people criticizing her. One person wrote very, disappointed, saying, I never would have thought Blake would go low like this. Talk about women empowerment. Such a shame to see this. With another person saying, nothing like kicking another woman when she's down. Blake Lively is actually horrible in interviews and press tours, but this one resurfaced clip has her even further under fire after she made cruel and very inappropriate jokes about her Gossip Girl co-stars, and in particular Leighton Meester. Now, in the video that, was taken from an undated, panel discussion, the actress makes a remark about, Leighton being born in prison. While sitting next to her, Blake declares, well, some of us started in a cage. As she literally delivers, this savage joke, she waves her hand in Leighton's direction. Now, after her quip falls to, amuse the audience, Blake adds, come on, it was a joke. Leighton was born, while her mother, Constance, was incarcerated and was raised up by her grandmother until she was released in 1995. Constance was actually convicted in 1985 on contraband trade charges and served 10 years in a Texas state prison for her involvement in a smuggling ring that brought large quantities of that green stuff to the US from Jamaica. Now, you'd think she would be quiet after that comment, right? Nope, she doubles down and says, another promise was no pet monkey. Lively was referring to Westwick's character Chuck Bass, who in the book has a pet monkey. monkey. She said Chuck has a pet monkey with coordinating outfits, and I was like, I would love to be a part of, this show, but I can't act with a monkey. Laughing, she then turned, quickly over and gestured to like her left where her co-stars were sitting, and then she said, well, I got a few of them. The remark, earned immediate laughter from the audience, and Lively insisted she was just joking. Meester, who was dressed in a bright yellow dress, looked unamused by the jab again as she kind of scrunched her face at Lively, and other Gossip Girl co-stars Chase Crawford and Penn Badgley failed to crack a smile as well, and instead they looked down at the stage floor, again with Blake saying, come on, it was a joke. So is like everything a joke to this woman? I guess so, when it's at the expense of other people. She also made another jab at Layton saying, everyone knows blondes are nicer. Well, joke is on Blake this time because Layton is a natural blonde and only dyed her hair to play the role of Blair. Now, please believe me when I tell you there's much, much more. She has undoubtedly been destroying her own reputation for years. It's just only now that everything is getting, brought back into the spotlight.